Okay guys, we're going to check the trigger pull on this thing. Let's see how that goes. I'm going to have to keep it a little bit sideways so I can pull and then straighten it out. It's right at about 4 pounds. It can be lighter. I'll do it again. Try to get the lowest most portion to get the biggest or best pull. Here we go again. I'll move it up a little bit. Okay, now it's showing at 3.5 pounds, which is alright for your basic guns. We're going to do it again. There's a dummy around in there. There we go. And move this over. Okay. So now it's showing 3 pounds, meaning the lower I keep moving that fulcrum to pull that trigger, the easier it gets, although, you know, my fingers are never going to grab it from down here. It's always going to be complete. So up here it was about 4, and midway it was about 3.5, and then down here it was less than, it was closer to 3. I don't know if you guys can see it. So how can we make it lighter? Gun was empty. It's got a dummy in it, which does not fall out. Now this is the second thing. This top rail that they show on the videos, popping in and out in like 2 seconds. I don't know if it's going to loosen up or what, but it doesn't go in that easy. You got to have some strong hands for this. Anyhow, we lay this to the side. Now one of the most popular methods, at least in 1911s, is people go to a lighter mainspring, which is right here, and they go to a lighter Sear spring. You know, those 3 clover leaf looking things. In CZs, people do get aftermarket springs, but the adjustable Sear by, what are those guys? Cajun Gunworks. Those are awesome. Would have been nice to see a adjustable Sear thing, but it's alright. They already spent a ton of money in making a bunch of oddball doodads so they can accommodate the bore axis to be lower. Anyhow, so this is at a near 90 degrees, and I've actually noticed that when you're pulling the slide back, it's a little tough. I think they should have rounded this bottom piece here. Ooh, let me see, let me grab a pen. I think they should have rounded this area better. It's kind of like, I mean, it's really, I don't know if you can make it out, but this piece right here, it's actually almost like a square. Let me move it over. Yeah, there you go, because I can't see what I'm doing to show you. I'm talking about this piece right here. It's square, but anyways, so how to get rid, not rid, but how to take out the Sear and the hammer. It looks like, and I'll know more, you've got a pen with a head on it, which I should be able to poke out on this end, and it should take this out, and there's a coil spring underneath it. I'm going to try and get the actual weight for it and get some new ones made, and same applies to that. Now, having said that, it should drop the weight. My objective is at least, or I should say at the most, 2 pounds. I'm gonna polish up this little tip at the end. this little end, because this is where it pokes it for the hammer to drop forward. I would not recommend anybody cutting any of these coil springs, because as far as the Sear goes, about 10% lighter, and the mainspring probably about the same, 10 to 15% lighter. That should drop it off quite a bit. Okay, I'm experimenting with the upper, which contains the sight. These holes are small on one side. However, the pin is, I don't know if you can see, straight through and through. Very nicely done. Okay, so let's get this unit off without it flying. It's a pretty hard Sear spring. So I'm going to move this back a little bit. I don't know if you can see. And you've got a little recess for the spring. I'm going to set this aside. And there is your, it's really under serious compression. It's really hard. Here's the bottom end. They greased it up. That'd be your Sear engagement, which of course I am going to polish up even more. It's nice and shiny. However, the edge here seems a bit, the edge here seems a bit off, like kind of rough. I don't know, I can't, have to look at it with a magnifying glass, but either case, nicely done, and go from there. I don't want to touch this pen. It may be, you can see how it's got a little bevel in it from hammering, so it stays in place. So if I remove this, it's going to be a mess putting it back. This pin, which holds the, I guess the mainspring housing at the bottom, I assume it holds it, is actually kind of really thick, and there's no opening here for it. So I'm going to go on the assumption that I'm not going to remove this. I am not going to remove this pin. I will probably, you can't really get into this because it's too close. Wow, it's under some serious tension. So I'm going to probably remove this pin from here, the real tiny one again. Now let's get this out. This thing's going to fly out, I know. So let me, there we go. Really nice, fine punch from Wheeler. I'm glad I bought this. Earlier in the day I was like, why the hell did I buy this damn thing? Okay, so, and there we go. Now you've got your hammer assembly out. A new hammer spring. If it's 20 pounds, I'm going to have them drop it down to 17 pounds. The Sear spring is actually really stiff, so if that thing is 20 pounds, I'm going to have them say, you know what, I'll tell them to make it 16 pounds, because I still haven't looked at the firing pin. I don't know how hard the spring on there is. Actually, the Sear spring, I can make it as light as I want. Shouldn't make that big of a difference. Let's get on this. Got this spring. Oh yeah, the spring is hard, and that is really nice and clean. I don't have to do anything to that. There's no markings on it. There's nothing. It is, from what I see, there we go. That thing looks smooth as silk. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to drop any weight if I were to shine that thing up to a mirror, but it's perfectly done. And this pin is also coming out now, but I'm just going to leave it in there. So now to wrap up the parts.